Welcome students, welcome to my next video, FYJC Arts History, the first cities of India. Now my dear students, we are going to see the cities which were there in the ancient times. What are their specialities? All this we are going to discuss it in this lesson. Now whenever we are going to discuss the historical cities, one of the most important cities we always learn is of Harappan Civilization. As we all know, Harappan culture was of Neolithic time at Meghar in Balochistan. In the beginning, Harappan culture, was introduced by Jean Francisco and Richard Meadow. They conducted an excavation, and during the Neolithic culture of pre-Harappan period was also known as Ravi or Hakra culture. This was found in the excavation sites like Harappa, Punjab, Pakistan. This is now in Pakistan, Kunal, and Farmana, Haryana. Now, a few years ago, it was strongly believed that the Vedic Aryans arrived in India about 1500 BCE. Now, let me tell you how they came to know about this Harappan civilization. In the year 1921, when they were constructing railway line, they came across with unusual bricks and pots, and as they were excavating, they came to know it belonged to some civilization, and at last they concluded it, and they made a discovery of Harappan civilization in these two places. It was right from 3500, between 3000 to 3500 BCE. They believed it was a well-developed, rich civilization flourished in India. It extended from Afghanistan to Maharashtra and from Markan coast to Haryana. The total area covered was 15 lakh square kilometers. The Harappan civilization belonged to the Bronze Age. So far, 200 sites of Harappan civilization have been recorded. The remains of the cities of Mohenjo-daro, Kalibangan, Lothal, Dolaria, the evidence of the past of this civilization. Now we will see these cities had three stages: early Harappan period, matured Harappan period, and late Harappan period. Now the question regarding the authors of the Harappan civilization still remains mysterious. As we all know, the script, even today, they are not successful to find out what kind of the script they made. They knew there was a script, but all the other specialities are of worth mentioning. And I feel that today, whether it is VVMC, that is Vasai Virar Municipal Corporation, or BMC, Bombay Municipal Corporation, they should follow what has been done by the Harappan people. Now let us take one by one. What was the characteristics of the Harappan cities? First was systematic planning. You know, their town planning was very systematic. They had baked their houses made up of baked bricks, complete with bathroom, toilet, and wells. They had granaries where they could store grains, impressive public monuments, then excellent drainage system. They had public baths. Nowadays, we can say modern in this modern world, we say uh, swimming pool, where two or more divisions of the cities and each of the divisions are enclosed by independent fortification walls and the street crossing each other at right angle. That means every house had an approach road, which resulted the block used for the building houses were of grid pattern. And the most interesting part is the residential areas were separate and the administration office was separate. You know, residential and office were separated. You know, those officers who were responsible to look after the cities, they had a separate office, and the people who were living, the residential areas were separate. It was thief proof. Robbers cannot enter the house. It was, and the drainage system was such, like, if we come out of our house, we get a lot of foul smells. But their drainage system was such that all their unwanted waters, which were bad, which were thrown out of the cities. This leads to the second one, that is central administration. As I told you before, uh, you know, administrative offices were separate. So administration control over distribution of water and other resources were there. Standardization, the bricks used were 1 is to 2 is to 4 weight, increase in proportion of 8, set style of painted designs of pottery, majestic and non-residential buildings for public administrative office. Now, next is social organization. Now, when I speak of social organization, their belief system was totally different. You know, social hierarchy based on a position of power, classes of skilled artisans were there, individuals based on craft specialization, they were there, and those who were good in architecture, they were there. There were evidence of burials, indicative of rituals after death. So see, there was social structure, and each of the people had their own work to do. Those who were cultivating crops, they were farmers. Those who were related to the masonry work, So every individual had their own work and they were specialized. Now let us go to the next one is economy. Now when I speak of economy, as we all know, Harappan culture was an urban culture They were traders. For example, well-shaped, beautiful earthen pots, statues, metal objects of gold, silver, and copper, bronze were made. There were factories and there were residents of artisans in particular area of the city for the sake of convenience of the production, flourishing international and distant trade, administrative control over trade transactions. You can see here economy was very progressed economy because it was an urban civilization. And they were, like if you know that I need a carpenter, so or I need an electrician, I need to go to a hardware shop, right? So the same way, there were particular areas allotted to the artisans, and they were staying there. And if we want any artisan, we could go and get it over there. Now, the use of developed writing system. There were writing system in 300 BCE. They started developing Harappan script, but these scripts are still not being known to the people. Even today, the people are not successful in, getting it. What is the script all about? They knew it, they have used this mode of writing, but still script is still a question mark even today. They are not successful in getting the the script. And the Harappan seals, what are they meant for? Now, there's some cities of Harappan civilization. One is Harappa, situated near to the bank of the river Ravi. The ancient city of Harappa spread 150 hectares. The first excavation at Harappan began in 1921. More of such excavations are conducted at the site. And in the year 1941, Sir Mortimer Wheeler is an important at the time when he was a Director General of Archaeological Survey of India. During excavation, he traced fortification walls around citadel of Harappa. The first settlement of the early Harappan period established in 3300 BCE. It evolved to the mature Harappan or urban phase around 2600 BCE, and it reached its peak in between 2450 to 1900 BCE. In 1900 BCE, some internal changes began to appear in Harappan cities. At the time of onset, the late Harappan phase, this phase indicated decline of Harappan civilization. Now, the evidence of the first excavations have indicated that the city was divided into two parts, citadel and lower town. However, the recent excavation shows that it had four divisions. Apart from citadel and the lower towns, there were factories and quarters of the artisans, which I have said before. In the southern east part of the city, the area towards the north of citadel had granaries and there were quarters of workers working there. It is obvious that the officials staying in the citadel supervised over the granaries and the workers working there. A few working platforms were found near the granary. Now, my dear students, the next city is Mohenjo-daro. Now, when I speak of Mohenjo-daro, the excavations of Mohenjo-daro was done by Rakaldas Banerjee. He concluded that the similarity between seals and other artifacts of the ancient civilization of Mesopotamia and Harappa had the cultural ties with each other. It was similar. In 1923-24, to gather information of Mohenjo-daro, uh, there were few excavations conducted by Sir John Marshall. He was the Director General of Archaeological Survey of India at that time. During these excavations, various artifacts, houses, public monuments are other unearthed. Mohenjo-daro was built on the banks of river Sindhu in Pakistan. It was not possible to reach to the bottom layer during the excavations. The high level groundwater, however, is likely to that of a Neolithic settlement. Meghar existed there. Area wise, Mohenjo-daro is the biggest city which is discovered in Pakistan. It was thought that the city was divided into two fortified sections, namely Citadel and Lower Town. However, the additional section of the market. In the section, they found workshops, kilns, baking potteries, and beads. The remains of the Mohenjo-daro was considerably intact, so the glory of the city was revealed in the way houses were majestic, buildings were there, wide streets, the evidence of the impressive town planning and the public administration characteristics of Harappan civilization came into light. The town planning of the Harappan cities were easily compared with the town planning of the modern cities like Chandigarh, considering the economic and human resources required for the creation of pre-planned city like Mohenjo-daro. It is created to serve a distinct purpose. The next city is Kalibangan. Now, this Kalibangan, the site of Kalibangan was in 205 kilometers away from Bikaner. It was located in Hanumangarh district of Rajasthan. It is one of the important centers of Harappan civilization. It was situated in the river bank of Ghagar. Now, some of the excavators reported that the Kalibangan is an ancient site. It could be prehistoric. It confirmed to be the Harappan city only after excavation. They began in 1960. It conducted under the direction of Brijbasi Lal, a Director General of Archaeological Survey of India, and Balakrishna Thapar. At Kalibangan, two settlements, one of the mature Harappan period and the other one was the early Harappan period found. The division of the city into Citadel and the lower town was found there too. Kalibangan is important for two things. First, the plough field and the early Harappan period, and the field dated about 2800 BCE. The furrow marks in the ancient field, similar to the furrows, are the modern fields surrounding the areas. The other things in the series of 6 and 7 fire altars in the citadel, evidence of the fire altar inside the house and the common people has been seen unearthed. Apart from the fire altars outside, there are fortification walls. Some of contained animal bones. According to some archaeologists, they might indicative of fire worship. Now the next town is Lothal. We are very familiar with the city of Lothal. It was situated near the Gulf of Kutch in Gujarat, 80 kilometers away from Ahmedabad. It is known for the remains of Harappan dock. Lothal was excavated in 1955 to 1960 under the supervision of S.R. Rao. Again, Citadel and the lower town at Lothal was found. Separate fortification wall was found. There were warehouses and there were platforms for stalls and warehouses. There were docks. There were ports, trading centers. And the dock of Lothal is an example of engineering excellence of ancient people. They were excellent engineers. It is clear that the Harappan settlers of Lothal had good knowledge of high tide and low tides. Accordingly, the rising and the descending pattern of Bogan water. Bhoga water. The dock was built to facilitate the entry of boats during the high tide and they exit during the low tides. Once the boat entered the dock, the water was drained out through a gate into a canal. Now, this gate was made up of big bricks. It was built to reduce water level in the dock as and when required, and the repair of the work of the boats was completed as with the rise of water, and the boat could slide back in the river. So, my dear students, I end this first part of this lesson. Very soon, I'll come with the second part. Thank you, and I wish you all the best. If you are a new person to see this, kindly subscribe it. If you like the video, please do like it. If you have not, uh, if people are not aware of this video, please give awareness by sending the link. Thank you.